Welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA. I am Norlene Ebel Ame, and here is the news. Ahead of the 2026 budget presentation by the executive, the Senate Committee on Finance has demanded for fiscal documents on 2024 and 2025 budgets implementation to guide the 2026 to 2029 Medium-Term Expenditures Framework, MTEF. Chairman of the committee, Senator Sani Musa, stated this while briefing newsmen shortly after a closed session with the Finance Minister. National Assembly correspondent Isa Mohammed has more.
Committee members said, as the year 2025 runs up, Nigerians need to know the state of the economy and the status of the 2024-2025 budget implementation.
We need to do more progress. We have heard from the Accountant General, we have heard from the Director of Budget where we are with the budgets. The payments that have so far been released, the warrants that have so far been signed, and also regarding the 2025 authority to incur expenditure for agencies to be able to release their capital projects.
The Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, explains that despite challenges, the country is making progress.
At this point in time, all agree that we do have an economy where the major distortions are being removed, an economy that is stabilized with inflation coming down, and with the economy accelerating in growth across all sectors, not just agriculture, but even industry. And if you say that the economy is growing in the last quarter in the second quarter of 2025 at the rate of 4.323%, it masks the fact that in terms of the various sectors, the all-important job-creating industrial sector grew at about...
The issue of external borrowing, the minister attributed it to the need for the implementation of 2025 budgets. The interface continues on the 23rd of this month to cross-examine relevant documents on 2024-2025 budgets implementation. From the National Assembly, Isa Muhammad, NTA News.
Towards fostering cross-border legislation and unlocking African international relations, the National Assembly is assuring its Ghanaian counterpart of continued collaboration for effective legislation. Director General of the Institute of Legislative and Democratic Studies, Professor Abubakar Suleiman, gave the assurance during a benchmarking visit by members of the Committee of the Independent Constitutional Bodies of the Parliament of Ghana in Abuja. Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports.
This is the fifth time the Ghanaian Parliament is visiting Nigeria for knowledge sharing and legislative practice. The Committee of the Parliament of Ghana was at Niels to gain the formula of success achieved and understand how the Institute deepened democratic architecture of the Nigerian governance.
I'm sure the curriculum may not be very different, but I want to leave here picking one or two to go back to Ghana and see how we can also refresh our curriculum and make our institute not just as big structurally as we have seen here. Ours is not that big, but also as impactful.
The Director General presented the institutional structure of NILS, commending Nigeria's government for establishing the institute.
I want to believe, just as we have in Ghana too, is left for the parliaments in Africa, devise better way of funding that organ of government. Because without that organ of government, I keep on saying, like them, hate them, without the legislature, there is no democracy.
The two countries agreed to explore more opportunities in extending the capacity beyond legislature. In Abuja, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
In other news, with a resounding voice, the Speaker, House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, has maintained the stance of the 10th Assembly in ensuring that women representation and all-round well-being of girl child is of priority in the ongoing constitution review. This, he affirmed when playing host to the delegation of the Gender Mobile Initiative in commemoration of the 2025 International Day of the Girl Child. National Assembly correspondent Joshua Gunjide tells us more.
Here they are, from different ethnic backgrounds, representing millions of Nigerian girls seeking prominence in decision-making, having passed through a short mentorship workshop to lay down their submissions.
It reminds us of the urgency to listen, urgency to act, and urgency to create a world where girls themselves would have their realities as living possibilities and not as deferred dreams.
Could there be opportunities for selected girls across Nigeria to participate in legislative exchange programs, an initiative that would allow us to observe parliamentary sittings, engage with lawmakers, and build our leadership and policy capacity early?
The interaction continued with emphasis on women representation in the National Assembly, girl child participation in governance, as well as girl child safety.
We have come up with a bill called the Reserved Seats for Women, and the House, from its own side, has decided to even engage a lot of them as legislative aides to further acquire more training.
As an academic, Speaker Abbas Tajuddin likewise touched vices bordering on tertiary education, early child marriages, child labor, and pedophilic tendencies in the society, alongside constituency interventions for younger generation.
So we will support this initiative of taking it to all the nooks and corners of the country, to all our tertiary institutions, that enough is enough on the issue of sexual harassment of female students, particularly by lecturers. Can remember, any member in every annual provision that does not include certain amount of money meant for training and empowering women and youth in his constituency.
The global theme for the day is Girl I Am, the Change I Lead Before My Time Runs Out. In Abuja, Joshua Oguchide, NTA News.
In the related news, the Presidential High-Level Advisory Council on Support for Women and Girls in Nigeria is brainstorming ways to address challenges hindering the full-scale empowerment and growth of women and girls. Ngozi Teknikyo reports on the 56-member multi-sectoral deliberations in Abuja.
The Presidential Council, inaugurated by the former president, late Muhammadu Buhari, in 2023, brings together expertise and technocrats from public and private sectors to share ideas on the best approach to drive women's economic empowerment and support national development. The gathering of this council, stakeholders say, is critical to achieving the overall objectives.
The national policy as being proposed by one of the coaches is a policy that will guide public, private, and multi-sectoral action. And we know what to do to ensure that there's economic justice for women, there's social justice, there's political justice.
Nigeria is a place of immense potential, and that potential is manifested in so many policies. The difference, of course, is always action and implementation. This is where the council comes in.
Statistics show that Nigerian women still face significant challenges in areas of maternal mortality, low girls' enrollment in secondary education, and women's labor force participation rate, which is about 48%.
If you take the adolescent girl who becomes a mother, she has to be safe. It's an imperative for our country to invest in every one of them.
Give us equity. Give us justice. It will bring us peace. And in the atmosphere of peace, there's security, there's progress.
The Presidential High-Level Advisory Council members pledge commitment to working together in bridging gaps in women's empowerment, ensuring economic access, sustainable livelihoods, and quality education for women and girls, aligning with the Sustainable Development Goals number 5, which focuses on gender equality. In Abuja, Ngozi Technical, NTA News.
The governing All Progressives Congress has appealed to the 7 newly constituted interim members of the Enugu State chapter of the party to embrace everyone and prioritize party unity at all times. The national chairman of the governing All Progressives Congress APC, Professor Nantawe Ilwada, said this shortly after the inauguration of members of the party national secretariat.
Progressive Congress of all Progressive Congress is asked you to unite the party. Unity is cardinal. Even the EXCO that left, that we just dissolved, they are not your enemies. They're your friends and partners in progress. You must go back and befriend them. You must learn from them. You must work with them.
But all that will change on Tuesday, the 14th October 2024, because the governor will be declaring for APC. And the governor is not coming alone. The governor is coming in with 260 ward councillors. They will be declaring with the governor. They'll be coming on with the 24 members of House of Assembly. He'll be coming in with members of the National Assembly. We also be coming with the entire ESCO. So what we'll be seeing now is that Enugu State, what is going on there, the transformative agenda of Governor Peter Ndubisi Mba is going to be merged. There'll be a merger between the transformative agenda of Governor Peter Ndubisi Mba and the Renew Hope agenda of His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
The caretaker chairman, Dr. Ben Ngoye, disclosed plans to formally receive the incumbent governor of Enugu State, Peter Mba, come Tuesday, 14th October 2025. The Nigerian legal profession is at a crossroad with a growing need to decolonize legal briefs and promote local contents in all ramifications. This was one of the major submissions highlighted by a professor of practice and international human rights lawyer, Chidi Anselm Odinkalu. Guest speaker at the second Kwasu, Professor Yusuf Ola Olu Ali SAN annual law lecture organized by the Faculty of Law, Kwara State University, Malete. Ahmad Fulani reports that the lecture was chaired by the former Vice President of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo.
The guest lecturer, Professor Chidi Anselm Odinkalu, called for a paradigm shift in the practice of law from the colonial point of view to embracing local content for the benefits of the nation's administration of justice.
Although colonialism has ended, we are still mentally and ideationally dependent on the colonial rule in too many ways. If we can address that, it will give us an opportunity over time to regenerate leadership. Leadership is the other level at which we've got to address this. Leadership as in access to governance, politics, and how we undertake those.
Chairman of the occasion and former Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, faulted the manners with which cases are delayed in Nigeria's courts due to obsessive preoccupation with technicalities and its attendant effects on justice dispensation.
It's really the fact that we really need to rethink. Critical thinking, thinking that is decluttered, thinking that is decolonized, is really going to be crucial to being able to reform the legal profession.
Those who succeeded the colonialists too saw the judiciary as an instrument to be used to perpetuate themselves in positions. It's the same thing with all our institutions actually. The police, for example, the police was set up as a repressive force in colonial days, and it has remained virtually so up to today.
Up to today, what people are using is what was set on by the colonialists, and that there's need for us now to start thinking, and now we can change from that and now see how we can use our local content.
The theme for the lecture was decolonizing legal briefs, effective implementation of the local content law for the benefits of Nigerian lawyers.
Nationwide news continues in our Lagos studio with Hingino John Adams. Hingino, it's over to you.
Thank you, Nolin, and welcome to Lagos. The need for engineers to be well equipped with various techniques to perform optimally so as to overcome any unforeseen circumstances has again been brought to the front burner. This was at the 3-day training and certification workshop organized by the Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, COREN. Bolaji Akim completes the story.
The reoccurring cases of collapsed buildings across the country has become a major concern to the Council for the Regulation of Engineering, COREN, in collaboration with the Nigerian Building and Road Research Institute and Chartered Institute of Forensics and Certified Fraud Investigators of Nigeria. COREN organized a 3-day training on engineering failure and forensic investigation for licensed engineers across the country. The workshop, amongst other things, is to find lasting solutions to incidents of building collapse and equip participants with modern techniques in forensic investigation.
Once they're able to address the issue of bad steel that is not fit for use, that is coming under a different nomenclature of size, of steel content, carbon content, there's so many things that are limiting. Issue of building codes that we need to address.
There have been cases, of course, recurring cases of failure of engineering systems and infrastructure, not only the civil, not only buildings, not only roads, even in other aspects or disciplines of engineering.
If forensic is injected into whatever investigation that is being carried out, now the tendency is that there will be consequences.
When an engineer has designed a structure, he should be allowed to supervise the construction process so that what he has designed is what is constructed.
For the participants, the workshop will go a long way in enhancing their professional efficiency.
We've treated material science and failure analysis and also structural failure. As engineers, we do our design, but some are other regulatory.
Is expected to produce a communique where other agencies involved in the crusade against structural failures will be notified so as to end the menace. In Lagos, Bolaji Akim, NTA News.
Talking culture now, in line with the renewed hope initiative of President Bola Tinubu, the Center of Black and African Arts and Civilization, CBAC, has announced selection and launched a program that will create jobs and add value to the economy. Tagged Roots and Roofs, Pan-African Indigenous Skills Development, PAID, is in collaboration with the European Institutes of Culture, UNIC, and other partners as part of the Spaces of Culture program of the European Union. Adeola Komiakele reports that the PAID theme for this year is African-inspired interior and exterior architecture.
This groundbreaking initiative aims to safeguard and revitalize Africa's indigenous architectural and artistic tradition while empowering a new generation of creative innovators through equitable Africa-Europe cultural partnership.
When you go into any of our
The Pan-Africa Indigenous Skills Development Program, PAID, the DG of CBAC says, apart from being in line with the RHI and the center's key performance indicators, it seeks to equip young Africans with hands-on training on sustainable practices and cultural documentation.
We have a lot of these things that are being lost in translation, should I say, with the rest of the world. So we felt it was very important to look at people who already had existing skills and come up with a program that gives them African creative design thinking.
Our hope is that this project will produce not only the knowledge and the documentation of it, but also will produce wonderful designs that you will have in your houses, in your galleries.
Other partners working to ensure the program succeeds includes the Institute of African and Diaspora Studies, UNILAG, National Troop of Nigeria, Embassies of Spain, Ireland, and the British Council.
We're going to be training and we're going to be retraining
And you do not do that without a curriculum. And so that's where we come in.
The embassy as well hopes to strengthen the cultural connections between Ireland and Nigeria by participating in this project.
The program, which will engage young Nigerians between the age bracket of 25 and 35 across the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT, is being funded by UNIC and implemented by CBAC, GOES, and other technical partners. In Lagos, Adeola Komiakere, NTA News.
We're done with our contribution from Lagos. Nationwide continues in Abuja after the break.
Thank you for staying with us on Nationwide and welcome to Abuja. President Bola Tinubu congratulates Al-Amin Mohammed Idris, Chief Executive of Interface Africa, on winning the Next Gen Innovation Challenge. Interface Africa, representing Kaduna, won a cash award of £1.5 million at the Challenge's grand finale. The Next Gen Innovation Challenge is a national initiative spearheaded by the National Board for Technology Incubation, MBTI, in partnership with UKALD London. The president strongly believes that the innovation potential of Nigerian youth is boundless. Hence, his administration's deliberate policies and programs to harness and catalyze this vital resource. President Tinubu also commends the other 104 participants and encourages them to keep innovating, improving lives, and shaping humanity's future. Nigeria is tidying its cyberspace, rebranding its image both locally and globally to build trust of users and attract investors. In this light, NIDA and its partners from the private sector have designed the Nigerian Digital Trust Mark, a tool that will authenticate genuine websites of government and private organizations. Chidinma Ndubisi will tell us more.
Have you ever gone online to check out some government establishments and you log on to their websites and later discovered it was cloned? Kene here has such an ugly experience.
They said that it's a website for job hunts. You understand? So I was thinking that the website is real. When I logged into it, they started saying that I should pay.
It is to address this that the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, and its partners developed the Digital Trust Mark, a seal that will distinguish authentic websites from fake ones. The Nigeria Digital Trust Mark will eliminate activities of cybercriminals who clone authentic organizations' websites to defraud unsuspecting cyber users. It will also expose fraudulent online business platforms that collect payment but fail to deliver the ordered goods and services.
Every company, every e-commerce platform, every business, every government organization will have a trust seal mark on their website to ensure they are authentic websites.
This is actually in alignment with the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, precisely the Digital Trade Protocol.
The trust mark, renewable every year, though optional for private business platforms, is compulsory for government agencies with sanctions for those who fail to comply. In Abuja, Chimdema Ndubisi, NTA News.
In a similar news, the federal government is building a digital-first public service that is efficient, transparent, and citizen-centric. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, hinted this at the GovTech Summit by the Bureau of Public Service Reforms in Abuja. Deborah Balabobo reports.
Federal government's resolve on achieving full digital transformation is on high drive, with government agencies transiting from analog to digital. But with this is the need for the public service workforce to possess necessary digital skills to navigate the digital technology landscape.
Definitely, the staff of the MDAs would need to be trained on the use of these services. So once the services are automated, it brings up their digital skills.
If you look at the ICT, the appetite for Nigerians for ICT consumption in the last 1 decade, it has actually gone in 1,000-fold.
At this conference, the capacity of government officials from the 36 states of the Federation are being developed.
Already, major reforms are underway to strengthen interoperability of government platforms, enhance digital identity management.
I see this as shaping the country as we navigate the very defining, disruptive manner in which artificial intelligence, the 4th and the 5th industrial revolution, the Internet of Things and all will certainly compel us, to rise up.
Digital tools alone cannot drive transformation. We must invest in people, the true enablers of innovation. That is why we have committed to training over 500,000 public servants on digital literacy and emerging technologies.
The theme for the conference is harnessing emerging technologies for public service delivery and social economic development. In Abuja, Deborah Balagubo, NTA News.
In other news, the Nigerian Army Resource Center is strengthening the capacity of security stakeholders to tackle emerging threats confronting their operations. The Force Protection Course for 2025, organized in collaboration with Peace Building Development Consult, is designed to enhance personnel skills in identifying and addressing potential threats, as well as safeguarding sensitive data and operational information from non-state actors.
The military, ministries and departments and agencies, as well as paramilitary. Every organization has threats and vulnerabilities in its operational activities. So all of them will know how to navigate when it goes back to their respective operational activities.
Participants are expected to demonstrate professionalism and diligence in managing critical information while working in synergy with other security and relevant agencies to ensure effective protection and coordinated operations. Now, amid global uncertainty, the business as usual narrative is changing, and business unusual is becoming the new normal. Maria Ado-Zakari reports that the United Nations Development Programme UNDP is partnering the Nigeria's economic team to reposition the country towards realizing its full economic potential.
Because I keep saying people can't eat, drink, oil and gas.
Across the world, shifting economic balances continue to test developing nations, and emerging economies like Nigeria remain amongst the most vulnerable. This meeting seeks to upscale Nigeria from a consumption-driven economy to one anchored on innovation, productivity, and human capital development.
You need to ensure that you have the right governance framework, the regulatory framework, the policy framework that will attract people. We need to reduce the cost of doing business, the risk and the associated cost of doing business in Nigeria.
GDP in Africa, Nigeria is among the top 5. But if you look at economic complexity, Nigeria is among the bottom 5.
And the shifts that we've been talking about here today is that development finance is shrinking and shrinking fast. ODA is going down. We see shifts from aid to trade. We see shifts, for example, in the technological space.
The collaboration also focuses on strengthening policy design, attracting sustainable investments, and building a more resilient economy, from energy to manufacturing and digital services. Maria Ado-Zakari, NTA News.
Anambra State's consistent high performance in education has been attributed to a combination of sustained government policy, strategic investment, and a strong cultural value placed on learning by the populace. Ndem Kalu examines Anambra's recent achievement at the 2025 President's Teachers and Schools Excellence Award.
The excellent achievements recorded in Anambra State's education sector, especially the state's remarkable performance at the 2025 President's Teachers and Schools Excellence Awards, where Anambra clinched 9 major awards, including the overall best school in Nigeria. Investigations show reflect the far-reaching reforms and unwavering commitment of the state government to quality education.
We are very intentional about it, very deliberate, that we must provide you with the enabling work tools you require to be able to take our children to that next level.
The national recognitions stand as clear proof that the government's efforts in repositioning the education sector are yielding impressive results, which stakeholders believe must be sustained.
It shows a progressive, insistent, and deliberate growth, positive growth in education.
And one that led the Anambra team to Abuja for 2025 Teachers World Day celebration. And we brought several awards.
Governor Soludo has empowered us so much with the teachers in Anambra State. He has given us more training.
Our academic ideas have been elevated in so many ways.
In our school, it is an interactive class where both the teachers and the students communicate together.
They don't just teach, they also make students understand their talent.
Anambra's education system is on the path of continuous excellence. In Oka, Ndemkalo, NTA News.
Still speaking on education system in Oka, Ngozi joins us live to speak to us further on this. So Ngozi, with Anambra State's remarkable victory at the National Education Awards, what key lessons can other states take from its education model?
Thank you and welcome to Anambra State. Anambra's deep commitment to consistent policy for quality education of its populace has continued to yield successes, attracting international and national awards. It's often said that the foundation of every state is the education of its youth. Anambra's education model offers several key lessons that other states can borrow a leaf from. This includes strong leadership and vision. The leadership and vision of past leaders in Anambra State has really and tremendously impacted the education sector, transforming it to the height it has attained by commitment to improving education infrastructure, recruiting quality teachers, promoting ICT integration in schools. These have yielded results. Then you talk about collaboration with development partners like World Bank, DFID, and UNICEF. This has helped secure funding and technical support for education projects that if other states can borrow this, they will improve tremendously. You also talk about community involvement and support. The Anambra State, since it handed over to school original owners, there has been great improvements, and communities are also integrated in policy and decision making in the education sector. This has also helped greatly. Then you talk about parents-teacher commitment, which was not also left out. These are where the states can also look into, because education cannot be complete only in school without involving the parents and the community, who should follow up whatever is done in the school and what government has also introduced. When they work hand in hand, you see great improvement on this. Then you talk about investment in teachers' development. Training and retraining of teachers is highly rewarding, in the sense that when they have this capacity building, they can give out quality education to students, thereby impacting the state generally. That wherever you find schools of Anambra competing nationally or internationally, they tend to excel. You also talk about robust funding. Education initiatives without funding is dead on arrival. So these states should learn that funding education greatly can be a kind of improvement on their achievements. We also talk about the most recent smart school programs by the Anambra State Governor, Charles Soludo. These smart school programs has invested and equipped schools with ICT modern facilities that has improved and enhanced learning greatly. These outcomes really contributed to these successes we are celebrating today. Then we can talk of these states also learning from free education initiative recently also introduced in Anambra State for both primary and secondary schools. You find out that those privileged ones that would have left behind at homes wallowing and wandering the streets are also gaining. You can't have a child now and say you cannot afford their education because the government has made it easy and affordable for everyone to be educated. So if these states adopt these strategies and they can learn from Anambra's experience and improve on their own education.
All right, thank you so much for the extensive briefing on the educational system in Oka, Ngozi. Thank you for your contribution. In other news, poor packaging, high production costs, and weak quality standards have been identified as major factors limiting Nigeria's onion export potential. The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment stated this in a message to the participants of a one-day stakeholders training on good agricultural practices and post-harvest handling for exports in collaboration with the National Onion Producers, Processors and Marketers Association of Nigeria, NOPMAN. Bashir Ibrahim Nababa reports.
Sokoto State remains Nigeria's leading onion producer with large-scale cultivation across Gada, Borno, Goronyo, and several other local government areas. Flagging off the stakeholders training, the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment represented emphasizes the need to strengthen non-oil export development through improved knowledge and capacity building within the onion value chain.
Our major concern is how do we meet up with export standards and how do we meet up with good agricultural practice.
We intend to improve the standards, the quality of our onion. We intend to increase the scope of export.
But with this workshop today, they have really taught them on how to apply all the necessary herbicides they need to do adequately that can meet up to international standards.
Participants describe the initiative as timely as it will equip them with the practical knowledge that will enhance their production.
Kuma ina kira ga manoma albasa su tabbatar da za su iri mai inganci ga manoma da kwarai ba mai guda a bara wallahi masu dalalan iri sun kashe.
A resource person, Professor Umar Aliu of the Department of Crop Science, Usmani Danfodiyo University, Sokoto, delivered a technical session highlighting appropriate seed varieties, soil fertility management, and cultivation techniques required for a successful commercial onion farming. The occasion featured distribution of water pumps. From Sokoto, Bashir Ibrahim Nababa, NTA News.
Our second commercial break beckons at this point on Nationwide. Stay with us. Thank you for being there. And talking security now. The Army War College Nigeria is equipping its personnel with advanced military tactics to address contemporary security challenges with a view to strengthen military strategies and operational art of war at the graduation of participants of the College Course 9 2025 in Abuja. The Minister Defense Mohammed Badaru stressed that professional military education is critical to shaping operational guidelines. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the platform is one of such tactical moves by the Nigerian Armed Forces to innovate and anticipate changes that will be useful in safeguarding the nation's complex security uncertainties.
This administration has continued to strengthen the foundations of security, prioritize military modernization, and enhance joint training institutions like this college as part of a broader effort to secure our nations and advance regional stability.
The course brought together 80 officers from the Nigerian Army, Navy, and Air Force, which is inclusive of 9 international officers from the Republic of Cameroon, Republic of Benin, Botswana, the Gambia, Chad, and the Republic of Liberia.
As the global security architecture is evolving and the Nigerian armed forces must be at par, the Ministry of Defense reminded the participants that the responsibility of the forces to build a safer and more prosperous nation cannot be jeopardized. Hence, their expertise are needed for national peace and combat readiness. In a related news from the police sector, 370 police constables recruited for the 2022-2023 Batch B in Niger State has successfully completed 6 months of training to significantly boost security in the country. The new recruits were formally inducted into the Nigeria Police Force during a ceremonial passing out parade at the Police Training School in Minna, the Niger State capital. Fatima Osman reports.
The Police Training School Minna presented 370 constables who underwent tutelage in discipline, police procedures and ethics in a ceremonial parade witnessed by people from all walks of life, including relatives and friends of the graduates. 235 of the new constables are from the 25 local government areas of Niger State, while 59 are from Abuja, Kaduna, Jigawa, and Katsina states. 317 of the total number of the recruits are male, while 53 are female.
Today's occasion is another historic step in our collective journey to strengthen the foundation of policing in our country and deepen our commitment to national security and public safety.
You should reciprocate the gesture of the training period by being professional in your conduct, as you will be henceforth held accountable for your actions.
The state government has done a lot in police in Niger State. But one thing we want of you, that let us be dedicated.
The institution appreciated Governor Umar Muhammad Bago for donating 2 solar-powered boreholes, thus alleviating the persistent water scarcity in the school. In Minna, I am Fatima Usman, NTA News.
And here in Abuja, Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Tuga has announced Dr. Tawhid Olufemi Elias as Nigeria's candidate for the UN Principal Judicial Body, the International Court of Justice, ICJ, ahead of its election scheduled for November 12, 2025. The ICJ, commonly regarded as the highest court for resolving disputes between sovereign states, was established in 1945 as the principal judicial organ of the UN. The minister described the Nigerian international lawyer currently serving as ad hoc judge at the ICJ as a respected figure in international law with a distinguished record of legal scholarship. Yusuf Tuga says this is a turning point for Nigeria, being the strongest diplomatic beat in over 30 years to reclaim a seat in the ICJ bench.
Your Excellencies, Nigeria is proud to present Judge Tawhid Olufemi Elias, a jurist of learning, experience, and vision. He represents continuity with Africa's distinguished contribution to the ICJ and renewal for our collective faith in the rule of law.
Nomination of Elias represents not just Nigeria's interest, but the entire ECOWAS sub-region, which has had no representation at the ICJ since Judge Abdul Koroma of Sierra Leone in 2011. Next is sports update.
The die is cast as the Super Eagles of Nigeria takes on their counterpart from Lesotho in a must-win 2026 World Cup qualifying match Friday evening. Observers worldwide are of different opinions on the qualification status of the Eric Cheltutot side, as reports indicate that Eritrea's withdrawal from the qualifier is a blessing for the three-time African champions.
Mathematically, we will qualify, but realistically, it is very, very tough. We need to beat Lesotho as much as 4-0.
No 4 points, 6 maximum points in these last 2 games, and that we will begin to see how and where the Super Eagles will find themselves.
Even if we win our last 2 matches, we can only get maximum of 17 points. Despite this, we can only ensure that we win our final 2 matches and hopefully pray that South Africa drops points, and for sure we might end up going to the World Cup.
We also expect the Nigerian Super Eagles to also give us a convincing performance of what we might likely see in the next AFCON. But for this World Cup qualifier, I think it's game over.
In female football, Nigeria's Flamingos Friday night will test their readiness for the Under-20 World Cup with an international friendly match against New Zealand. The team's last training session focused on finishing drills, among other tactics. In table tennis, President of the African Table Tennis Federation, Waheed Oshoji, has expressed optimism ahead of this year's ITTF African Championship. He predicted many upsets as emerging youth stars are in their best form. And in tennis, despite making it to the last 4 of Shanghai Masters, Novak Djokovic has raised concern over his health status as he struggled through the stages before beating Zizou in straight sets to qualify for the semi-finals. With sports update, Olumide Eguntola, NTA News.
The sports update there concludes Nationwide today. Thank you so much for watching. I am Nolene Ebel Ame. Bye for now.